Who's that on the bed? It's Lucy. Hi, welcome back to the channel. My name's Tina, also known as Little T. And today we're going to be making sourdough focaccia together. Last week I made a pasta salad recipe and I actually made this focaccia sourdough on that same day. It was just too much to put into one video, two different recipes. So I split it apart and today is going to be the sourdough focaccia recipe. Just note that I am no great bread baker. I have the sourdough starter that I got from a customer several years back at the bakehouse, and I've just kept it going ever since. Sometimes I have to just throw it out and refresh it because I haven't updated it within a week or two, but a lot of the times I just use it to make a pizza crust or like this focaccia, and sometimes even a sourdough loaf. So my recipe is not precise, it's just going by feel for the most part, but I think if you give it a go and try this recipe, you'll find that yours turns out too. So let's get to the recipe. So here we have the makings for the sourdough bread. I've already put some of the sourdough starter into my mixing bowl. I'd say it's about half a cup to 2/3 of a cup. That's my starter right over there. I keep it in the fridge, and I've already fed it some more flour and water after I used some of it in the bowl, and we'll have salt, flour, and water from the tea kettle. It's not hot, it's just room temperature. Okay, we've already got our starter in the bowl. It's been sitting out for just a little while, that's why it's kind of slurpy. We're gonna add some flour to that. I have 1 cup, 2 cups, and then just about a half. I'm going to do about 1.5 teaspoons of salt. And we have our water here. It's just room temperature. And I'm just going to start with half a cup. We're just going to mix this all together. And it's quite stiff. You can see it hasn't come all together, so I'm going to add more water. Let's go for 1/4 cup this time. So far we've added 3/4 cup water, 2.5 cups flour, and about 1/2 to 2/3 cup sourdough starter, and 1.5 teaspoons of salt. Still quite dry. We're going to do another 1/4 cup of water. So that's going to put us up to 1 cup of water. Okay, you can see now that it's making a ball, it's coming together. I'm just going to reach my hand in there and squish it around. I don't have any rings on that I need to take off, and kind of get a feel for the texture. I make a lot of noise at the same time, banging it on the counter. Okay, it's come together quite well. It's kind of sticky, but not too sticky. I want it to be pretty moist, so I'm just going to add just a few more dribbles of water. We're going to say it's a tablespoon. You kind of hear it slurping around there a little bit. It's much more, it's getting a little bit stretchy from just working around that gluten. It's starting to stretch, and it's just a little stickier. And it's leaving strands on my hand. I'm just going to pour that last little bit, a teaspoon of water on there that I had. Just barely work it in. So you can see it's kind of still shiny, has a little bit of water on it. It's not sticking to my hand because it's still quite moist. And we're just going to leave it in this bowl. Cover it with a towel, a dish towel, and we're just going to let it sit for 45 minutes. It's been 45 minutes now, so we're going to take off our little cloth. Here's what the dough looks like. Kind of a shadow there. It's not really formed really nicely, but what we're going to do is just get your hand under the dough, pull it up, and flop it on itself. We're going to give it about 4 turns. Stretch, flop, stretch, flop. We're just folding it on top of itself. Stretch. The gluten's getting stretchier. And then we're going to flop it back on itself. Noisy banging bowl. You can see already it's becoming a little bit of a prettier smooth ball. We're going to cover it back up with the cloth. Get my tripod here to cooperate. Cover it back up for 45 more minutes and do that exact same thing. I'm going to try and do that 4 times, 3 for sure, but I'd like to do 4 and then we'll let it rest. So now it's on its second 45-minute rest. Now we're back, ready for our second stretch, and because we're human, it's not exactly 45 minutes later. It's actually over an hour later because I took a little nap. So, we are just going to proceed. You can see our dough is looking a little shiny and kind of, it's just flat, but it's a little poofy. We're going to stretch it and see how far that gluten has developed. Here we go. Clean hand, stretch, fold. Stretch, fold. You're just folding it over on top of itself. Stretch, fold. It's already pretty much a bowl. I'm going to try and stretch it one more time. Stretch. And we'll just let it set again for another 45 minutes. Time to cover it up. This time I'm going to set a timer just because I know I'm going to be just in the other room. I've got to go and wash off my hand. Our 45 minutes is up. We have our sourdough ball there, looking very similar to the last time. Gonna stretch it. Getting nice and stretchy. That was our third stretch. Because it's 5:30, we're gonna go ahead and get it onto our pan. I'm going to use this pizza pan because we're going to make it flat like a focaccia. Get some flour on here. Take our dough out of here. Nice stretch. Looks the right size. Make it the shape of the pan. We're going to let it rest now for about 30 minutes and then preheat our oven. Cover it up while it rests. Our 30 minutes has passed and I'm preheating the oven to 450 degrees. Then I'm taking this pan, which you can see it's kind of rusty and icky. But all I use this pan for is to put water in it so we can have a little steam bath in the oven, or I'll line it with parchment if I'm going to bake in it. But right now I'm just going to go fill it about halfway up with water and put that in the oven real quick. We've got our water. Put it in the oven, bottom shelf. It's still preheating. I'm just going to take my fingers and make little indentations. Then I've got our olive oil here. Just gonna kind of go drizzle it. Drizzle over the top. I've got some Italian seasoning. And my pepper grinder. I have some vegan mozzarella shreds. I'm just going to put just a thin layer. But it's not going to be pizza. It's like a sourdough focaccia. So just a little bit. It's going to add us a little bit of flavor, some saltiness. Our oven should be preheated here in just a minute. It'll give us a beep when it's ready, so we're just gonna wait for that. Editing Tina here. I realized in retrospect that at this point in the process of making the focaccia, I would have let it rest again for 30 to 45 minutes, covered with my tea towel. In that case, I wouldn't have needed to preheat my oven quite so soon or put the water in, because it's just wasting energy and the water is evaporating in the oven. So if you have time, go ahead and cover it up and let it rest for another 30 to 45 minutes before you preheat your oven and add the water. In our case, it was our dinner time and we were just hungry, so I went ahead and put it into the oven. And it ended up not being quite as fluffy or as many air pockets as we would have liked, but it still tasted really good. So just this little tip when you're making your batch of sourdough focaccia. Our oven just said it was all preheated and ready to go, so we're at 450 degrees. We've got our steam bath in there, all bubbly. Let's get this in the oven. We'll start with 12 minutes. Somebody in this family likes bread. Who is it? It's not just us. Can you smell? Look in the oven. What's in there? What is that? What is it? Where are you going? You come see the bread? Come here. Lucy, what's in the oven? What is that? Do you like bread? Do you like bread? It's almost done. Let's take a look at the focaccia. It's nice and sizzly on top. I'm actually going to turn the broiler on for a minute. So we're going to cancel the bake. I hit broil, and it's on high. We'll do start. And that should get the top of it nice and melty. We could already see that it was sizzling a little bit. We'll give it just a little bit of brown. Timer ended. We'll cancel the broil. Now our focaccia has cooled somewhat. Time to slice it. I'm gonna go once down the middle. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video on making sourdough focaccia together. If you try it yourself, please let me know in the comments how it turns out. You can also subscribe to our channel and click that notification bell so you'll know whenever we put out a new video. Lucy says goodbye. Have a good week. We'll see you next time.